I'm Caleb, 29 years old, and I can still feel the sting of that rainy April night when my world fell apart. I'm sitting here, picturing the way the streetlights flickered through the drizzle outside our apartment window, the air heavy with the scent of wet pavement. My girlfriend Mia was curled up on the couch, her phone glowing in her hands, a smile playing on her lips that wasn't for me. I wasn't looking for trouble that night. I wasn't planning on revenge, not yet. But what I found on her phone changed everything, and what I did with her precious concert tickets. Well, let's just say she'll never forget it. Mia and I had been together for 3 years, ever since we met at a dive bar in our small Ohio town. It was one of those places with sticky floors and neon signs buzzing in the background. She was singing along to some old rock song on the jukebox, her dark hair falling over her shoulders, and I was hooked. We moved in together a year later, renting a cramped but cozy apartment downtown, with creaky hardwood floors and a view of the river. Life felt good. Late-night pizza runs, binge-watching shows, planning our future. Mia was obsessed with this band, the Midnight Echoes, a rock group she'd followed since high school. She'd play their songs on repeat, dancing around the kitchen, telling me how seeing them live was her dream. I thought we were building something real, something lasting. We'd bought tickets to their big reunion concert 6 months ago, a sold-out show in Cleveland. Mia was over the moon, talking about it nonstop, how she'd saved up for front-row seats, how she'd waited years for this. I paid for my ticket, $200, but she insisted on covering hers, $250, saying it was her personal pilgrimage. We kept the tickets in a little wooden box on our bookshelf, next to her collection of band merch, posters, t-shirts, even a signed vinyl she'd won in a radio contest. That box was her shrine, and I loved how passionate she was. It made me love her more. But things started shifting last winter. Mia got a new job at a marketing firm, and suddenly she was always networking. Late nights at the office, happy hours with coworkers, her phone buzzing at all hours. I'm a graphic designer, freelancing from home, so I was around more, noticing the changes. She'd come home distracted, her laughter a little forced. I'd ask about her day, and she'd give vague answers, her eyes darting to her phone. I tried to shrug it off. New job, new stress, right? But then I saw it. One night, she left her phone on the kitchen counter while she showered. The screen lit up with a text. "Can't wait to see you, babe," from someone named Jay. My stomach dropped. I didn't want to snoop, but my hands moved faster than my brain. I unlocked her phone. Her password was still our anniversary. 418. And there it was, a thread with Jay, full of flirty messages, late-night plans, and photos I wish I'd never seen. I stood there, the water running in the bathroom, rain tapping the windows, feeling like the floor was crumbling. Mia was texting this guy, Jake, a coworker she'd mentioned in passing. "Miss you already," she'd written after a work dinner. He'd replied with a photo of them at a bar, her hand on his arm, her smile brighter than it had been for me in months. I scrolled back, my heart racing, and saw months of lies, meetups, inside jokes, plans to go to the Midnight Echoes concert together. She'd been cheating right under my nose in our own home. I put the phone down, my hands shaking, and when Mia came out, towel around her hair, I couldn't even look at her. "Everything okay?" she asked, her voice too sweet. I nodded, said I was tired, and went to bed, but I didn't sleep. All I could think about was her with him, laughing, planning while I was here, clueless. The next few weeks were torture. I didn't confront her, not yet. I needed time to process, to figure out what to do. I kept up the act, smiling through dinners, but every time she touched her phone, I saw red. I started noticing more. Her late meetings always lined up with Jake's Instagram stories, them at the same bars, same rooftops. She'd come home smelling like his cologne, and I'd pretend not to notice. But I was watching, waiting, and deep down, I knew I couldn't let her walk away unscathed. She was planning to take Jake to the concert, using the tickets we'd bought together in the life we'd built. That's when the idea hit me. Those tickets, her dream, her obsession, were my way to hit back, and I'd do it legally, calmly, in a way she couldn't ignore. I started planning in secret. I checked the tickets in that wooden box, and sure enough, my name was on both, mine and hers, since I'd ordered them through my account. Legally, they were mine to do with as I pleased. I contacted the ticketing company, confirmed the details, and learned I could transfer or sell them with a few clicks. Mia didn't know I'd seen her texts, didn't know I was on to her. She kept talking about the concert, gushing about how life-changing it would be, and I played along, nodding, smiling while my anger simmered. I reached out to a friend, Ethan, who ran a local music blog. He knew people who'd pay top dollar for front row seats to the Midnight Echoes. "You sure you want to sell these?" he asked, surprised. I didn't tell him about Mia, just said I couldn't make it. He found a buyer within a day, a fan willing to pay $600 for the pair. I didn't stop there. I wanted Mia to feel the weight of her betrayal, not just lose the tickets. I started gathering evidence, screenshots of her texts with Jake, saved in a hidden folder on my laptop. I wasn't going to confront her with drama or yelling, that wasn't me. I wanted her to know I'd outsmarted her, that her lies had consequences. I checked the concert date 3 weeks away. I had time to make this perfect. I transferred the tickets to Ethan's buyer, got the cash deposited, and felt a strange calm. It wasn't about the money, it was about taking back control. Mia thought she could cheat, lie, and still get her dream night. Not on my watch. The day I sold the tickets, I came home to find Mia packing a bag for a work trip. She was humming, carefree, probably texting Jake while I stood in the doorway. "Big weekend?" I asked, keeping my voice even. She nodded, not looking up. "Just some team-building thing," she lied. I could have called her out right there, but I held back. I wanted her to find out about the tickets at the worst possible moment. I pictured her face when she realized her dream was gone, and for the first time since I saw those texts, I felt a spark of power. This wasn't over, not by a long shot. I stood in our apartment doorway that rainy evening, watching Mia pack for her so-called work trip, her suitcase open on the couch, clothes folded with care. The air smelled like her lavender shampoo, and the Ohio River glinted darkly outside our window, reflecting the storm clouds. She was humming a Midnight Echoes song, oblivious to the fact that I'd just sold her concert tickets, her dream, her obsession, for $600 to a stranger. My heart was still raw from her text with Jake, but holding that secret felt like holding a winning hand. I wasn't going to yell or fight. I was going to let her lies catch up to her, and when they did, it had hit harder than any argument. The next 2 weeks were a game of patience. Mia kept up her act, talking about the concert like it was our plan. Not hers and Jake's. "Caleb, you're gonna love the opening act," she'd say, her eyes bright, not knowing I'd seen her messages planning to ditch me for him. I'd nod, force a smile, and change the subject, all while checking my email for the ticket transfer confirmation. Ethan, my music blog friend, sent me the buyer's payment proof, and I stashed the cash in a locked drawer. Every time Mia mentioned the concert, I felt a jolt of anger, but also power. She thought she was playing me, but I was steps ahead. I needed more than just selling the tickets, though. I wanted her to know why, to feel the weight of her betrayal in front of people who mattered to her. Mia was all about her image. Her Instagram was full of curated posts, her at bars with coworkers, always the life of the party. I decided the concert night would be my moment. I'd show up not to see the band, but to make sure she faced the truth. I kept digging, saving more screenshots of her texts with Jake. One night, I borrowed her laptop. Her password was still our anniversary, which stung, and found an email to Jake. "Can't wait to see the Echoes with you. Caleb won't suspect a thing." That email was like a knife, but it also fueled me. I printed it, added it to my folder, and planned my move. The concert was on a chilly May night, the kind where the air bites your knuckles. I told Mia I had a last-minute freelance gig and couldn't make it to the concert. "Go have fun," I said, my voice steady despite the fire in my chest. She didn't even blink, just kissed my cheek and said, "I'll tell you all about it." I watched her leave, her leather jacket slung over her shoulder, probably headed to meet Jake. I waited an hour, then grabbed my phone, my folder of evidence, and drove to the Cleveland venue. The city was alive, neon signs glowing through the fog, the streets buzzing with fans in band t-shirts. My heart was pounding, but I wasn't nervous anymore. I was ready. The venue was a massive old theater, its marquee blazing with the Midnight Echoes reunion tour. I didn't have a ticket, but I didn't need one. I'd called Ethan earlier, who knew a security guy at the side entrance. He let me in, no questions asked, and I slipped into the crowd near the front row section. The lights were low, the stage pulsing with warm-up music, and the air smelled like beer and anticipation. I scanned the crowd for Mia, my eyes darting past screaming fans and glowing phone screens. Then I saw her, in the front row where our seats used to be, laughing with Jake, her arm linked through his. She was wearing the band t-shirt she'd bought with me, and it felt like a slap. But those seats weren't hers anymore. I waited until the opening act finished, the crowd buzzing during the break. That's when I made my move. I'd planned it with Ethan. He'd connected me to a tech guy at the venue who owed him a favor. For $50, he agreed to let me use the big screen above the stage for a special message. I handed him my USB drive, loaded with a slideshow, Mia's text to Jake, that email about the concert, and a photo of us from last year, smiling with the tickets in hand. The final slide was simple. Mia, you chose him. I chose justice. My hands were shaking as I stood in the shadows near the stage, watching the tech guy plug in the drive. The screen flickered on, and the crowd hushed, expecting a band announcement. Instead, Mia's text lit up in giant font. Can't wait to see the echoes with you, Jake. Gasps rippled through the front row. Mia's face went pale, her eyes wide as she stared up at the screen. Jake froze, his beer halfway to his mouth. The next slide showed her email. Caleb won't suspect a thing. People started whispering, turning to look at her. I stepped forward into the light and grabbed a mic from a confused stagehand. Mia, I said, my voice echoing through the theater. You thought you could cheat and take our dream night? Those front row seats? I sold them. You're here because someone else bought your ticket. The crowd erupted. Some booed, some cheered, others just stared. Mia's face crumpled, her hands covering her mouth. Jake tried to pull her away, but she shoved him, her eyes locked on me. Caleb, how could you? She shouted, but her voice was drowned out by the crowd's noise. The slideshow looped, showing the photo of us, then back to her text. Fans around her were filming, their phones out, and I knew this was going viral. I didn't care about the attention. I cared that she felt what I felt, that moment of betrayal when the person you trust rips your world apart. I didn't stay for the concert. I walked out past the stunned security guards into the cold Cleveland night. The fog was thicker now, wrapping the streets in a gray haze. My phone buzzed with texts from mutual friends who'd seen the videos online. Some called me a hero, others said I went too far. I didn't care. I drove home, the river glinting under the streetlights, and felt a weight lift. Mia's dream night was ruined, not by yelling or fighting, but by her own lies, laid bare for everyone to see. I'd sold her tickets legally, used her own words against her, and walked away clean. The next day, Mia showed up at our apartment banging on the door. Her eyes were red, her voice hoarse. Why, Caleb? She demanded. I didn't let her in. Through the door, I said, You know why? You chose Jake, I chose myself. She left, and I heard from friends that she and Jake didn't last long after that night. The viral videos humiliated her at work, and she moved out of town a month later. I kept the $600, donated half to a local animal shelter. Max, my old dog, would have liked that, and used the rest to buy a new lens for my camera. I'm 29 now, and I'm not the same guy who trusted Mia blindly. I still live in our small Ohio town, where the river flows and the winters are cold. I've got new projects, new friends, and a new perspective. I'm not proud of humiliating Mia in front of thousands, but I don't regret it either. She thought she could lie, cheat, and steal our dream without consequences. I showed her she was wrong, and I did it my way. Calm, legal, and sharp as a blade. If you've been betrayed, don't let it break you. Find your way to fight back, smart and steady. Share your story in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.